What is going on, everyone? Obviously, I'm doing the intro. It's John. It's him back again. And this is another news show. We are spoiling you people. A few more rumours flying around today. And we did say we'll be doing a lot more videos now this transfer window is open. We have been linked with a couple of strikers today. Michael has got the names there. I know we're going to talk about them. So we will take the first one from Germany. What's his name, Michael?
Nick Woltemade, we're going to go with. And what's actually really impressive about this lad is he's absolutely massive. I think he's 6'4", can score goals, had a very, very good season last season. He's good with his feet, he's quick, he's strong. He's probably the sort of striker that you want really to lead the line and then have players playing off as well. You know, we've got Alcaraz, we know that. We've got Endai. Dwight McNeil can chip in with a goal as well. So, you know, he's probably a little bit of a target man, but also a lad that can play through the channel, play through the lines, and probably a little bit slightly different to Beto in that sense. So I could see this being a good signing, if I'm being honest. It's just the price. It's just the price. How much is the German taller Tom Davies going to cost us? And that's where I don't know, mate. I don't know. But yeah, he's a very good player. He's got some good stats. And, you know, he's young. He's 23 years old as well, John. You know, he's half your age. He's almost a third your age.
Well, he fits into the mould that Everton are looking to build. Young players coming in, and I've seen a few clips of him. Listen, we've had players at Everton Football Club who looked absolutely fantastic on YouTube, and they were absolutely dog shit. But looking at this fella's credentials and what he offers, and also you spoke about then, you know, his qualities. There's some of the videos I've seen. He likes to drop short as well and pick the ball up and run at the opposition. So for me, he seems like more of an all-round centre forward than what we've got. And let's be honest about it, it's not hard to be better than what we've got. Yeah, Beto's had a little bit of a purple patch under David Moyes since he's come in. David Moyes has improved. Beto, no end. I think it's pretty obvious he doesn't really fancy Chimiti, and the Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you know, future at Everton Football Club is up in the air. But it's good that we're looking at these sort of players. And you mentioned the transfer fee. I don't know how long he's got left on his contract, but you're probably going to get him for the same sort of fee that we're going to pay for Liam Delap. He's not going to be on the Liam Delap wages that we did offer, because the German league doesn't really pay big wages anyway. So I think he'll be happy probably doubling his wages. He might only be on 30, 40 grand a week, Michael. So it is a player that we can keep an eye on. And, you know, some of the reputable journalists who've put it out there that Everton have looked at him, the likes of Paddy, he's put it out there that Everton are interested. So it's certainly one to watch, and it's certainly a player that excites me from what I've seen. And again, he fits into the age bracket of what the Freakins want to build, what David Moyes wants to build, get this squad younger with a bit of experience, and that's being proved with the likes of Garner Guy signing on for another 1 year with the option of another. We've got the experience, but they're also looking at youth, which is, for me, a good model and a road that we've got to go down, I think.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. The only thing I have this problem with this player is it looks. I've just been reading a couple of articles about him, and it looks like Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich are also interested. It also looks like he could be making an international debut as well. So if Everton are going to sign in, I think they've got to do it quickly. And part of the article that we were reading earlier, me and you were discussing, I think it was by Paddy, a friend of ours. You know, we've done the football stuff with him. Is we need a decision about Calvert-Lewin. The longer this drags on, the longer we're not going to replace the wages or and we need a plan now. You know, David Moyes come out and said, you'll hear something on Monday. And I thought that involved Keane, Calvert-Lewin, and we never heard anything. And my concern is the longer this goes on, the longer we're not picking up a striker, because you mentioned this either last week or in yesterday's video, all of the other teams that are trying to progress and push on this season have already started signing players. Man United, Tottenham are rumoured to be looking at their first signing. Liverpool look like they've got 3 over the line already. Everton want to be pushing on. Obviously, we're not going to be title challengers next season, but we're certainly going to be challenging for probably between 8th and 10th. We need to get him now.
Well, you mentioned Calvert-Lewin. Listen, we can't replace his wages till the 31st of June regardless anyway. He's contracted till then. The longer it drags on, the more it makes me think that Everton are trying to give him some sort of deal. But obviously on reduced wages, the contract that's been on the table for the last 18 months is no doubt being ripped up because he didn't sign that. If Calvert-Lewin's going to stay at Everton, it won't be on the figures that were offered to him in the latest contract offer, which was offered to him quite a while back. Now, the longer it drags on, obviously Everton are in talks. Everton haven't come out yet and said Dominic Calvert-Lewin will leave the club at the end of his contract. They haven't come out and said Michael Keane will leave the club at the end of his contract.
Yeah.
So to me, we know which players have gone. A lot of the players who were out of contract, we've heard about the majority of them now. The 2 keepers, the 4 loan players, Ashley Young, obviously Seamus Coleman. We haven't really heard much about that yet, but David Moyes has said he will stay in some capacity. So we sort of know what's happening with Seamus. For me, it's the other 2 now. It's Michael Keane and it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I do expect to hear something within the next fortnight, 10 to 14 days about them players, because then that's taking you to the middle of the month, then more than the middle of the month, and their contract run out on the 31st of June. So I do expect to hear something about them 2 players in the non too distant future. Whether Calvert-Lewin stays or not, in my opinion, we need a striker. We need more of a prolific striker than what we've got at the club. Even if Beto stays with us next season, Beto doesn't score you enough games to propel you up that league and to hopefully finish in the top 10, top 8, outside chance of challenging for that conference place in the league. Don't think Beto does it over a season. We've seen him have purple patches. We've seen David Moyes has got more out of Beto. I just worry that he couldn't get enough of him over the whole season.
Yeah.
So regardless, we need a striker in.
Yeah. The thing is with this lad. So I'll be straight, right, because we're going to talk about another striker that we've been linked with, but this is the guy that I would love to sign. 17 goals for Stuttgart, cup win, I think it was. It looks like he could be leading the line for Germany for a long time. He's a young lad, all of the positives. But it also means that we're going to be in a battle to sign him. And some of the clubs that are interested in him can offer him Champions League football, can offer him the things that Everton can't. And we've already been stung by that with Liam Delap. The thing that surprises me about the 2 players we've been linked with is the sort of playing profile. They're both tall, they're both strong, they're both rapid. Woltemade can hold up the ball better than the other striker we're going to talk about in a minute. But for me, if we're going to sign him, it has to be now. And for a player in his position where he probably has 10 to 15 clubs in Europe that are probably interested in him, I think it's a tall order for Everton to be that club. I'd love him. I just can't see it happening.
It's a tall order, but what we have to do is we have to steal a march on these clubs who are in for him, these other teams who have been mentioned. Listen, he's got to be half decent with the clubs that are also being linked with him, apart from Everton as well. Now, we spoke last night on the video that obviously the Freakins are showing their hands, and they do mean business because they offered Liam Delap, by all accounts, but what you said. I think Everton probably offered Liam Delap more wages than what Chelsea did. So the Freakins are willing to spend big. They were willing to spend £30 million on Liam Delap's buyout clause. They were willing to give him big wages. Let's just hope now for this Woltemade, if Everton are in for him, we do steal a march. We can offer him Premier League football, and we can offer him probably bigger wages than the majority of them clubs who are after him pay, because the clubs who are after him don't really pay big wages. The Premier League's the place to be for wages, obviously apart from Saudi, but I don't think he's going to go there. So Everton need to put their cards on the table as soon as possible, steal a march, have talks with him, throw a contract at him, try and sort a deal with his club, and hopefully we can get him over the line, because he will be a signing that excites, from what I've seen, not just me, but I think he'll be a signing that excites the Everton fan base. And you're quite right with what you say. It's obvious that Everton are looking for a certain profile of a striker, because the two players, we spoke about one, we're going to speak about another one. They both seem to have the same build, and they both seem to have the same characteristics. So it's obvious that Everton are looking for a certain profile. If you look at Liam Delap, he's sort of the same profile as these two players who we're talking about. Tall, good outside the box, good in the box, good with his feet, good with his head, at a turn of pace. But it's obvious David Moyes knows what he wants up front.
Yeah. Everton have also been linked with, and I'm just going to call him Barry. We've been linked with Barry, who...
Gareth.
Yeah. He equally looks good, and he's equally been touted at around £25 million, euros, that sort of number. I don't think he's as good as the other lad, Woltemade. I don't get that impression from what I've seen. Also, he's sort of... You look at the clubs that are linked with him, it's a different club, basically. But again, you're looking at these players that are young, points to prove, opportunity to come to the Premier League. And I could actually see Everton getting Barry based on the clubs that are interested in him. For me, I'd like to know what happens with these strikers that we've got. Because if we sign one now, we've got 4 strikers on the books. We've got Beto, who is staying. He's convinced most of us that he should stay. Chimiti, I really don't get the impression that Moyes fancies him.
I think he'll go out on loan, Chimiti.
Yeah. Calvert-Lewin, what part will he play if he signs a new deal, but we sign another number 1 striker? What part does Lewin play? Because we both think that Beto is better than him. We both think that Beto has probably got more desire than Calvert-Lewin. Not a dig at Lewin, because we don't know. I mean, neither of us know him personally, so I haven't got a clue. But I just get the impression that when Beto wears the blue shirt, it means more to Beto than it does to Calvert-Lewin. And then we sign another striker. I just don't see the point of Lewin staying, is the point I'm making.
It's going to be interesting what happens if Everton are going to sign a player in this first part of the transfer window, because it does shut for 6 days.
Yeah.
So 10th of June it shuts. If Everton sign a striker, one of these 2 strikers, or any striker, this could be smoke in the air. These 2 strikers, you might even get them. We could get a name we haven't even mentioned or heard of. Yeah. I think if Everton get a striker by the 10th, I think Calvert-Lewin goes. I really think he goes. If we haven't heard any news about Calvert-Lewin from the 16th, when it opens again, to the 31st of June, when his contract runs out, I think Calvert-Lewin goes. So what I'm getting at, if we don't hear anything from Calvert-Lewin and his camp and Everton and David Moyes, the longer it drags on, and Everton have been linked with these strikers, if Everton get one of these strikers over the line, I actually think we don't even have to wait for any news on Calvert-Lewin, because I think it'll be done, signed, sealed and delivered that he's played his last game for Everton Football Club.
Yeah. Everton have also been linked with Trey Hume, right back from Sunderland. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know loads about this lad. I'm not. He's been linked with Wolves. He's been linked with a couple of clubs from La Liga. We've both got our opinion on Patterson, and we both agree on that opinion. He hasn't done enough for me to prove that he is a viable option, going forward in pushing on Everton into the top 8, top 6, whatever Everton want to achieve over the next couple of years. I don't think Patterson's the option. Do you take... Firstly, let's just say, I don't think this happens. Sunderland have just been promoted. They're going to want to keep hold of their players. So I don't think it happens.
Apart from Joe Bellingham.
Apart from Joe Bellingham. But how important is the right back spot?
Well, we spoke about this today. And, there's been rumours circulating that David Moyes, more than anything, wants to strengthen the final third. He's happy with the goalkeeper, which we all are. And the back four picks itself. From what we see in the last 10 games of the season, obviously Tarkowski was out injured. But next season, if Tarkowski's fit for the beginning of the season, the back four picks itself. O'Brien, Tarkowski, Brantwaite and Mikalenko. I thought Mikalenko's done well since Moyes has come in. But we need cover at right back. And I honestly do see Everton using one of their loan options to bring cover in at right back, because going forward, Nathan Patterson's not good enough. And I know people will come in the comments, and I've had conversations with people around the ground and in the pub. He hasn't been given enough time. He's been given enough time to convince me and you that he's not a Premier League footballer. He's not good enough as an understudy. He's not good enough to come in. I would have actually played Ashley Young last season. I would have played a half-fit Seamus Coleman before Nathan Patterson. I just don't rate him. So we are going to need cover at right back, because if one of the centre-halves get injured, Jake O'Brien has to go there, which he done towards the end of the season. We ended up playing Ashley Young there, who's no longer at the club. So Idrissa Gana Guys signed another contract. We've got Alcaraz in. We've got James Garner there. Marmite, you either like him or you don't. Moyes talks about the final third. For me, it's the wingers that we need to sort out. And again, the striker. But defensively, I think we'll be all right, apart from some cover at the full-back positions.
Just in recent minutes, Everton have been linked with Tottenham midfielder Yves Bissouma. Again, without sounding horrible, I don't think that happens either. This is the problem with these rumours videos. We sit here, we read the rumours, we tell you the rumours that we've heard from all the sources that you can read. We're basically teaching you all to suck eggs. Basically, that's what me and John are doing, and we're trying to do it attractively. However, John is ugly, and that will never, ever change, unfortunately. I think it's really difficult to get drawn into rumours so early. But there is a couple of bits that I wanted to talk about that aren't Everton related, John, if you don't mind me potentially having a moan for the next 4 minutes.
Well, you saw it every day anyway.
How the fucking hell can Chelsea and Manchester United sign? Well, Man United are going to sign £100 million worth of players in a week. Chelsea are going to sign 55 to 60 million pounds worth of players in a week. Both of them have spent, Man United were £1 billion in debt. Chelsea is selling the ladies team to Chelsea's other company, getting £200 million. Last year they sold hotels to each other. They've spent £1 billion in transfers in the last 3 years or 2 years. Why are we as football fans fucking tolerating this? It's actually bullshit.
Well,
it is an absolute farce for clubs like Everton, Villa, West Ham, Newcastle. The clubs that were not in the top 6 but are still big clubs. Everton and Villa are light years ahead of Newcastle and and West Ham. Unfortunately for you guys, apologies, but we are. So I just don't get it. I just don't get it how they can get away with it season in, season out because of the revenue. It's like we are competing on a different fucking field, and it's really, as you can tell, starting to wind me up.
But you see, this is what the big wigs want in the Premier League. They want it they want different teams on different level playing fields. And I spoke about this the other night when we were talking about Jarrett Brandwaite being linked to Chelsea. Now, I said this the other night and I'll say it again. We spoke about this today. One of the clubs in the Premier League in these transfer windows coming up needs to be ballsy, needs to go, fuck you. And you know, if we get pulled up on it, whoever it may be, answer the case to us how Chelsea get away with it, finding loopholes. You tell me how Man United can be £1 billion in debt and still owe transfer fees on 4 of their 5 players and are spending £60 million on Cunha. And now they're spending money on Embuemo, or whatever his name is. Be ballsy, get the checkbook out, go and splash the cash. Because what will be for me is the nail in the coffin after these clubs doing this, as if Man City get away with them 115 charges. And then it's going to take someone out of the rest of the Premier League, apart from the clubs who get away with it, to go, right, we're not happy with this. Write letters into the Premier League, the PGMOL. Write as many letters as you can. Ask them how they're getting away with it. But yeah, Everton got a points deduction for just spending just over. Notts Forest got a points deduction. I'd just do a Notts Forest, mate. The whole fucking Premier League should do a Notts Forest, splash the cash, and if we get pulled in on it, then they've got a case to answer to then and say, well, hang on a minute. How have they got away with it? Because it's pissing me off. And I'm telling you, do you know, if this carries on the way it's going, and these big six, the Sky Darlings, the Premier League Super Six, they carry on getting away with it. But yet the likes of Everton, and you mentioned today about Aston Villa have to sell players to get round PSR. If it carries on the way it's going, football's finished, mate. Because do you know all this talk 2.5 years ago, about the European Super League? The Premier League is becoming a European Super League now, with these big six who can just spunk cash when they want and get away with it. So it's going to take another team to be ballsy and ask how they can get away with it. And if they are and they can't answer it, then every other club just spend willy-nilly and try and close this gap, because the gap will never close while PSR exists. It won't.
There you go. I'm literally going through Twitter, and as you can probably see there is Jadon Sancho. Everton.
There's one. Would you?
No.
250,000 pound a week he's on.
Have you read this? Everton have apparently asked Man United if they can loan him. Will pay 36% of his wages, rising to 100 depending on European qualification. I mean, I don't believe that for a second. But the other thing I'm going to say is, how? Who owns him? What is he? Chelsea's player or Man United's player? How can we be doing? I don't get it. I don't get it. But I also don't believe that one either, by the way. That's another rumour I do not believe.
So he's a Man United player, and he went to Chelsea on loan, right. and Chelsea could have bought him for £25 million. And that was the deal. That was the deal on the table. Chelsea wanted him to stay on the strength of he halved his wages. He refused to do that. Also in the deal, when Chelsea took him on loan, let me get this right. When Chelsea took him on loan from Manchester United, he set on a fee of 25 million. If Chelsea did not trigger that 25 million pound transfer fee and they send him back, Chelsea have got to pay Man United £5 million to send him back. Oh. I've never heard a transfer like that in my life.
I'm glad you've explained it though. Yeah, I don't see that.
I just for the record, I don't want Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just put that out there. We've also been linked with Maxime Esteve. I don't think this happens again. I don't think that happens. I think it happens. Yeah, it ain't going to happen because we've still got Branthwaite, and by all accounts, Branthwaite wants to stay. So, what's the point spending £30 million on a fourth choice centre half? Not for me. I do rate him. I think he's a good player. I just don't see where he gets in unless Jake O'Brien plays at right back all next season, and he does. I don't know. Everyone needs to remember there is Mason Holgate as well floating around somewhere because I'm sure he's still got a year left on his contract.
He's out of contract on the 31st of June.
Oh, honestly, you are brilliant, John. You are brilliant. Apart from you keep saying the 31st of June, and I'm sure it only goes up to the 30th.
30th, yeah. Okay, it's a leap year. No,
February for a start.
I know. I was trying to catch it out. You mentioned the Burnley centre half. Listen, he has been linked with some high-profile clubs. He was part. Listen, he's a good player. He was part of a defence that got promoted. Burnley promoted last season. I think they conceded something stupid. Like I don't even think they conceded 20 goals in the league. Now I'm not being funny, mate. That is unbelievable. So he was part of a good defence, albeit it was a championship. Premier League's a different kettle of fish. But as we keep hitting the nail on the head here and we keep reiterating, I don't think you see any big money signings coming into Everton's defence. I do think it'll be loan signings for cover. I think the money is spent as being reported. Big money that is spent. If we do spend big money, we'll be on the final third, i.e. your wingers and your centre forwards.
Okay, last question. How much money do you think we spend in this window?
100 million.
Yeah. I think 80. And then I think next season we go to town.
We go deep.
We go balls deep. Cool. Right. I've had my rant. We've spoke about the transfers. There's nothing really else going on. Channel's fine. Me and John are fine.
Good views last night for the news show last night as well. Well, thank you everyone for watching and liking, and any new subscribers. We do appreciate it. The video done well last night. If we can hit them numbers most nights on the news show, then it does make it worthwhile because it was really good numbers for that video last night.
Yeah, the last 3 videos have done basically 20,000 views, which is big numbers for a small channel like us, and we are growing all the time.
£1 a view, it's boss, isn't it? 10 grand each.
Could you imagine? Honestly, could you imagine? I mean, the problem is 20,000 views is about
a tenner.
It's about 30 quid.
Imagine you got £1 for every view. I'm not being funny, mate. I'd set my alarm for 7:30 of the morning, and we'd be doing videos 8 till 8. You know what I mean? Honest to God, I'd be finding anything to talk about, even if half of the videos only got 1,000 views. I'm telling you now, mate, we'd be doing more videos than Toffee TV, than the Bullens View, than the Across the Park podcast. We'd be doing more in a day than what they do in a week. I'd smash it. Honest to God. Honest to God. I'm telling you now, I'd have to buy a new screen for me phone every week because it'd have screen burn. It'd be on that much.
I'm telling you now, mate. If we ever get up to the
we've been doing watch-alongs on friendlies between Nigerian and fucking Bohemian Rhapsodies or whatever they're called. Honest to God. Fucking watch-alongs for Woking versus fucking Stockport United. Fucking hell, honest to God.
watching some of the Egyptian third division stuff at like 4 o'clock in the morning or something.
To throw it in, we'd be doing watch-alongs on the Isle of Man, TT, the fucking Tour de France, everything. Honest, ice hockey, fucking bowls, cricket. Okay, now what a life that'd be.
Mate, honestly.
I'm not being funny, mate. If we had a life like that, I'd end up like fucking George Best and Gaza. Worse than them two put together. I'd be dead in 12 months. Okay,
oh dear. Well, hey, listen.
We can only hope and wish, can't we?
We'll get there one day. We'll get there one day. But yeah, your love and support is always obviously welcome. And
I'm bearing in mind, just to throw it in there, all them videos that we'd be doing 8 till 8 would be in the Seychelles on the beach. We'd have maids waiting on us, naked. We'd be laying there making gaps in the sand, walking along. Honest to God.
Honestly, I'm telling you now, right? And there's a
I'd be writing SOS. I'd be writing SOS with me manhood in the sand like that.
I'm telling you now, right?
Save our season.
Save our season. Fucking hell. No, listen, there's loads of great Everton content creators, etc. And it's a big shout out to everyone. But yeah, I'm telling you now, if you get an ending like me and John consistently deliver day in, day out by them, I'd be astonished. This is the problem. They're good because they're professional. We're just dickheads.
Speak for yourself. I'm going to Seychelles.
Right, sound. Love you all. Keep smiling. Up the toffees. John, you see them out. Go on.
Don't forget, hit the like, subscribe button. I'm sure we will be back tomorrow because there will be more lazy journalist rumours flying about, but we will bring them to you tomorrow. So thanks very much for watching. Michael's off to break up.